There's one thing in show business that you learn, and that is nothing is spontaneous. Everything's set up, particularly in this desperate need now to gather ratings. It's a fascinating thing the way it all works. So a few years ago, on a reality TV show, a son of a former British rocker suddenly shocked one of the judges by turning out to be a friend of one of the judges. His father, wasn't it? Oh, absolute shock. Really? You never met them backstage beforehand? You never practiced the things you were saying? This is how show business works. Now, the downside to show business is you have ups and you have downs. And some people might suggest that recently the crooner throwback from the 1950s, Michael Bublé, has been having something of a, shall we say, down period. As ever, let me explain. Morning, nice to see you. How are you? Or good evening, I should say, to many people. I know a lot of people are going to bed. As they often said on Crime Watch, I hope you don't watch this and give yourself nightmares. Not a good thing. Do you remember that? Crime Watch. It's not that bad out there. They show you an hour of murder and everything like that, crime-infested streets, and they say, don't worry, you're bolting your door and putting, the wardrobe behind the door at night. So terrified. Do you remember? Terrible, isn't it? But of course, that's the world we live in, isn't it? It's a strange world. But anyway, if you are going to bed, good evening, and thank you so much for your time. And if you're getting up, I hope you have a wonderful day. Back as ever to your royal story of the day. Yes, this was big news, wasn't it? Michael Bublé serenading, of course, the former royals known as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Meghan and Harry, out at the Invictus Games. Meghan, of course, rubbing Harry's face and his back and gushing away as Michael, of course, decided to do his own rather unique rendition of the Frank Sinatra classic, My Way, with wonderful lyrics, of course, rewritten from the French tune by Paul Anka. Met Paul, wonderful man, very, very fascinating. His career just is incredible when you think. And the sad thing about it is when you meet them, you do kind of wonder why they get lost. Their stories are far more interesting than some of the people today. That's another story, no doubt. But yes, Michael decided, of course, to serenade the couple with his own rendition of My Way. Fascinating this, because Michael's career has been of something of a, shall we say, anyway, he recently starred at Christmas over here in the United Kingdom and shocked many people by appearing in the supermarket Christmas ad for Asda. Now, let's just say that Asda's not exactly the best brand. And of course, if you were going to get a brand like that, Michael really, I found, more aligning to the likes of John Lewis, perhaps, Harrods, Marks and Spencer's. Maybe Asda decided to offer the most money, who knows? But this particular rendition, of course, shocked a lot of people because it had Harry down as a visionary, a leader. You couldn't gush anymore. It was like an oil slick coming over with these new rewritten lyrics, and I'll just leave that there. But what is interesting is, and as ever we have to say allegedly, it wasn't as spontaneous as you might think. According to a very well-placed source, these lyrics were agreed and sanctioned, and yes, by none other than, oh yes, Meghan Markle, as ever, allegedly. Apparently Michael just wanted to check with her that there was nothing too offensive beforehand when he hit the stage, and so Meghan gushing, clapping, crying, and of course just looking slightly bemused at this absolute wonderful tribute to her husband, the former royal known as the Duke of Sussex. Well, again, some might say she's not a good actress, while others might say, well, she's not too bad, she knew all along. As ever, it's a crazy world, isn't it, Michael? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.